Hi, today I'm going to talk about and show some examples of something called the hybrid picking technique, which simply that you're using a technique that involves both using a pick and fingers on your right hand. This is comes from country music and is widely associated with that, and the examples I'm going to show are very much based on something called the banjo rolls, which is definitely country, but you can see today that a lot of rock and metal players are using this technique also. If you're not familiar with the flat picking, the hybrid picking technique already, I think it's good always when you learn new techniques, whether it's sweep picking or tapping or whatever, to use with a kind of a limited number of notes. Although it's great to use all the strings and fretboard, but I think it's better to start with a kind of a simple form and develop from that. Those banjo rolls usually involves open strings, so it's kind of limited to certain keys, but G is a very popular key for this kind of music, and because it means that you can use all the open strings actually. That was a familiar G major pentatonic, or E minor, which is the relative key, and also the major blues scale, of course. I'm going to start with a kind of simple, relatively simple lick, which is just on the three first strings. It's the G and B and E string. And for this pattern, I'm using the pick on the third string and middle finger on the second string and ring finger on the first string. So it involves hammering as well with the index finger on the left hand. So something like this. Yeah, so you can see pick on the third string, and then after the hammer, I pick the second string with the middle finger, and then the ring finger on the first string. So the whole pattern is like this. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting rhythmic effect because you're playing 3 notes, but in a 16-note pattern, so it's kind of changes rhythmically. Yeah. So that's a G7, although you actually have the E on the top, which is just the 6th, but it sounds very nice over like a G7. Yeah. You kind of get those dissonant sounds that can be a little bit hard on the ear if you're playing when you're playing them slow, but when you reach a certain speed, it's a kind of a nice cascading effect, I think. Yeah, I went one semitone lower, and then you get a pattern that will work well over a C7 chord. Here we get the same note on the second string and the first string, but it's a nice effect even though it's the same note. So I played those 2 patterns kind of slowly. So I can also move up to the 10th and 12th fret, same strings. And also find kind of a G7 arpeggio. And if I go one step lower, we got another pattern that works for the C7 chord. So if I play both together, it will be like this. So we can have a lot of fun just using 3 strings, really. And I want to show you one more chord change. It's a very typical kind of country chord shape or chord sequence, which is G, E7th, A7th, D7th, and G. Because then we can start with the first pattern that I show you, which is a G7 kind of thing. Then I move down to the first and third fret, which gives us the E7. And then we have the A7, same pattern, on the 6th and 8th fret. And if we go down 1/2 step, we got to come D7. And then here's another one, which you can see is a little bit different than the others we have discussed so far. You are on the 7th fret on the 3rd string and 8th fret on the 2nd string and open 1st string. So I think will be. Yeah, now I'm going to look at some other banjo rolls, which involves more strings and more different patterns, really. And it's based loosely on a song I made called Runnin' Moonshine, which was on my Red-Handed record. And yeah, I can play the main theme first, if you like. That's it. Yeah, one pattern I'm using quite a lot is this thing here, which is a 7 chord, a G7 chord in this case, which is the first thing in the Runnin' Moonshine song. I think I might show you, because I do the same thing in D. You got a nice B string, open B string there, which is the 6th actually in the D7 chord, or in D, which is the 6th note in the D major scale. So I think I'm using very much a pattern like this, which is the regular D7 chord, and then I do what's sort of called the first inversion, because it's still a D7 chord, but you have the 3rd, or the F sharp as the lowest note. And I also play what's something called a chromatic passing note on the 4th string. So that's actually a minor 3rd, but I hammer on the major 3rd. So it's a chord like that. First one is like this. If you just look at the chord itself, it will be like this. And the first inversion, with the 3rd as the lowest note, will be like this. And then we have the 2nd inversion, which has the 5th, or the tone, the A note on the 7th fret on the 4th string. And in all cases, I start on a chromatic passing note. That would be the first D7. That would be the one starting with the 3rd, and then one like this. Where the fifth note, or A, is the lowest note in the pattern. Yeah. So if we go back to the start of the Ronny Moonshine song, it's got like this. This is exactly the same. If I do it slowly, you can see that I'm starting with using the pick. The pick are doing only down strokes here. I didn't know that until I sat down and analyzed it and tried to write it out on the tablature. But the picked notes with or those are picked with a flat pick are that's a down stroke. So I start with a hammer on the 6th string, and then I pick the open 5th string with my middle finger. Yeah. And then the pick again on the 6th string. Then I pick the 4th string with my ring finger. And then I use the pick on the 5th string and do a hammer on the 2nd fret, open string, hammer, and then I pick the open 3rd string with my ring finger. So the whole thing like this, very slowly. So after that, I pick notes on the 3rd and 4th string. Okay. So I start on the B flat note on the 3rd string on the 3rd fret of the G string, and do a pull off, so we get an open string, and then I play the G on the 4th string on the 5th fret. So we got the same note on the 4th string and the 3rd string. Yeah, it's kind of very different than if you should play the note on just one string. Yeah. 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 So after that I play an open 3rd string and a hammer on the 3rd fret and an open 3rd string, G, and and then the open D string at last. So far we have. Then I go back to the banjo roll on start of the song. So yeah, that's it. That's the first part. Yeah, then I play an F and an F sharp, and then I start again, and then we do a little run like this. So there's a lot of open strings here. Yeah, so I do I pick the 1st fret on the B string. This is the note C, and the pull off. Then I do the B flat and then the open B string. So they also got this dissonant sound that I was talking about. It can be a bit hard on the ear when you're playing it slowly like I did. But yeah, when you do it at a certain tempo, it gives a nice ringing effect, I think. I'm playing the open 4th string, the D string, and do a hammer on the 2nd fret, and then the open G string. Then I play on the 5th string, open, hammer on the 3rd fret, and a pull off, so I get a open A string again, and then I do go from the B flat to the B note on the 1st and 2nd fret on the A string, and then end up on the G, which is the root note. So up to then, if I play it slowly, it will be like this: 3, 4. So you play that twice, then something else is happening. Then we go to the exactly the same kind of pattern. Only now we are on the 5th string, 4th string, and 3rd string, or the D7th chord. Then we go to the C7th, first inversion that would be, because we have the note E as the lowest note. This is the 3rd in the C chord, and this will be the lowest note in the first inversion, C7. And then it's a nice tone. It will be a G9, because we have the note F, which is the flat 7th, and then we have the note A, which is the 9th in the G chord. Yeah, there's a lot of dissonance here as well. Yeah, because we have the B flat against the B, open B string. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll play that last part from the D7 to be like this, very slowly. Do it once more. So we go from the D7. Yeah. So that's the head theme. I've added another part, which is also from the Running Moonshine. I've changed some of the arpeggios a little bit, which is the same. The same chords. I can play it to you once. So yeah, the next part after the intro head theme, if you like, starts with one bar with the G7 chord, and also kind of a second inversion, because the 5th or the D is the lowest note here. So it's like this. Then we go to the D7th and play the kind of what I showed earlier, really, because we got the D7 chord like this, and then the first inversion, so it's one whole bar with D7 chord, really. Then there's another G7 here that we haven't used earlier. So it's you got a G on the 5th fret on the 4th string, and the B on the 4th fret of the G string, and the ring finger on the 6th fret of the note F. This is the seventh in G, flat seventh. And there's here's a nice one. This is a G ninth. We had that earlier actually in the first team, but here we play in a different position. So we have very nice sounding G9 here with a F or flat 7 in the bass on the 5th string, and the note A on the 4th string on 7th fret, and then open G and open B. Then we go to C, and you might see that that's exactly the same. Sorry. Same shape, same as here. Only thing on the, since this is in C, we pick the first string, the open E, to get the same effect, that kind of dissonant sounding, because we have E and E flat together, or just after one another. Then there's that's another G shape. Here we have so that's the first inversion in G, with the 9th fret on the 4th string, 10th fret on the 3rd string, and 8th fret on the 2nd string. And as usual, we do the chromatic passing note hammer on 4th string. Then we go to E, where there's actually a flat 9th. There's a note right there. So there's also a nice dissonant thing happening here with the open E against the note F on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. Then there's an A7, just like we played G7 earlier, but A7, and then the D7 again, and then there's a little lick for you, not really based on just one chord, but it fits on the G chord. Here's also an example. We play the same note on 2 different strings, but it has a nice effect, I think, which is different to if you just played all those G notes on the same fret. So here I'm just using one finger, the middle finger, and the pick. That's it. Then it's a C major. Starts with a hammer from the B on the 2nd fret to the C on the 3rd fret, which is the root note, the C. So I'm playing on 3 strings here and using pick, middle finger, and ring finger. Same. Next one is like this. This is an A. First inversion, because we've got the C sharp for the 3rd note as the bass note. And then the 2nd inversion of the G chord with a dissonant happening on the 3rd and 2nd string. And then there's an E7. That's the first time we have that particular chord, but you see it's the shape as the D and G7, but now we are on the first 3 strings. I'm starting with a hammer on from the 3rd to the 4th fret on the G string. And then which is a fit over an A7. Although it's more like scale-based playing. Start with a hammer from on the 2nd string with from the 1st to and hammer on the. You fret the 1st fret with your index finger, then do the hammer with the middle finger. Then also kind of an A7th with a C sharp in the bass. Then there's a long D7th thing happening. D7 with a F sharp on the bass. Yeah, so but we do the hammer on the 6th string, 1st to 2nd fret. And I pick the 5th string with the middle finger and the 4th string with the ring finger. That's a C kind of chord. This is works very well over D7 chord. This is the dominant chord in G major. Although this is kind of like a C arpeggio, but it works well in the D7 context because we have that C note, which is the flatted 7 in the D7 chord. Then we go to nice sounding chord up here. I play and hammer on the 5th string from starting on the E on the 7th fret and then hammer on the F sharp on the 9th fret or the 5th string. Otherwise, pretty much the same pattern as we have used quite a lot so far in the song. And then one of those things I showed earlier, which is kind of a 2nd inversion of the D7 chord. And if you move that up 3 half notes, you get a nice dissonant sounding D7 flat 9th actually. That note there, a E flat on the 1st string. Sounds nice against the E on the open string, and so it gives you a D7 B9. So you go from exactly the same pattern here, and then there's a more familiar kind of a D7 chord. We have that form on the A and 7th chord earlier, and then there's a D7 chord here on the first 3 strings. And then I put on some diminished 7 chords as well. I think it's easier if I just fret those fingers on the little finger on the 5th fret on the 2nd string, and the 3rd finger on the 5th fret on the G on the 4th string, and then I do the hammer first on from C to C sharp on the 5th string, 3rd and 4th fret, and then the hammer on the 3rd fret on the G string. Yeah, and you know, that's kind of symmetrical built up the diminished chord. So if you just move it up 3 half steps, you got another one, and there's another one, and so I do 4, which is exactly the same shape and technique and fingers and everything. Yeah, then we get to the 7th chord. It's different from the ones that we had done earlier. The chord is like this. This is familiar because it's the same as that one. But now we are on the 10th, 9th and 10th fret on E and A and D string, and we also added the 3rd, major 3rd on the F sharp on the 11th fret on the G string. Done the little hammer here, both on the 6th string and also on the 5th string. And so that's another one. That's a form that we have not had earlier in the song, and it's not on the original. It's something I just came up with the other day, really. And it's the same here with the there's a G9th chord here on G on the 10th fret of the 5th string, and F sharp on the 9th fret on the 4th string, and then we got 10th fret on the 3rd and 2nd string. Yeah, we got a nice E on top there.